It's somewhere in London and it's looking pretty red. Lee Judges is attempting to score some new content. He's got to get past a hacker, malware, and password attacks. Lee takes off. But look, the hacker sends password attacks towards Lee. He's dispossessed of all his passwords and data. He goes again. But he's hacked to the ground. Look at Lee's in pain and they're mocking him. Wait, he's got a last-minute transfer deal. He's got NordVPN on his team now. I mean, is that even legal? Oh, that's next-generation encryption absolutely blinding the opposition. And the fastest VPN on the planet flies past password attacks, takes down the ball and scores! That's fresh content on your favourite streaming services. You're protected on multiple devices, back of the net. Just change your location in the app. Go to nordvpn.com/AFTV now.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Listen, I know it could all be better. We could be a lot more I say we. I'm talking about myself. I could be in a more positive mood today about Arsenal, but we are going to talk because it is more drop points after a 3-3 draw against Southampton at the Emirates. And as you just saw there, big up NordVPN. Today's Fourever Arsenal is powered by Nord again. Be invincible by using the code AFTV at the checkout or click the link below, nordvpn.com/AFTV, and you'll get the AFTV special automatically applied. Lee, you was about to say something.
Yes, talking about drop points. I think right now, the point deduction has got to be done now. You know,
Who?
I just want to tell everybody we had a 7 a.m. podcast today, and again, didn't turn up for it. Now I don't mind, you know, like the odd one there at 9 o'clock, but 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I just think it's going beyond too much, you know. And Sharoy or Kilroy, whatever your name is, in the, you know, like the judge, jury, I'm going to call you from now on. If you ain't coming in here and backing us up on this one, then you're out, and we'll get somebody else in.
Why don't you use NordVPN so that it makes you think you're waking up at 10 a.m. or something? You know what I mean? Like, you know, just watch content from somewhere else in the world.
No, there's no excuses no more, James. No, come on. There's a points deduction. I'm going 3 points deduction.
Whoa, Lee.
No. Sunday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'll put my alarm on for 6:45 on a Sunday morning, right? And there I am at 7:30. I think James was the first one to say, I'm here. And then we all said we're here. And old Sleeping Beauty ain't. And it's not for the first time. It's not for the first time. I think it's now getting into near double digits.
To be fair, Sharoy did come on last time and say, it's last chance saloon. We got the big man in. It's a repeat offender. I think it was 1 point last time, wasn't it? Was it 1 point last time?
Wasn't it something like 1 point for every 20 minutes? So, I mean, I don't know what, 15 hours.
Got no points.
Hold on. This is where the evidence comes in, because I did read the rules that Sharoy set out. I did go back to listen to it because I knew you schmucks were going to bring it up and talk some shit.
We're schmucks for being on time. Schmucks! This is the disrespect, see?
It's got to be 2 points. It's got to be 2 points now.
All right, so okay, let me explain then. Yeah, basically, people in the comment section, whoever's watching this, you can go back to the show where Sharoy laid down the law, the rules moving forward. Because of repeat offending, let's say, and the rules were, if you're late by anywhere from a minute to 20, it's 1 point. 20 plus 2 points, and if you miss the whole show, it's 3 points. So my evidence is at 7:40 in the morning, I messaged the group. This is an hour-long show, so 40 minutes past 7 is still in the show. So it's 2 points that I'm.
So it's 2 points. It's 2 points
on a Sunday morning. I just want to say, like, I very rarely, right, get messages from Turkish. Very rarely, like, I got one this morning. Sorry, mate. I need to learn how to say I can't do it. I knew I had people round for boxing, but I thought I could still do it. My bad.
Oh, it's the copy
My
and
reply
paste.
to him was,
I got the same thing.
Like, I mean, and that's it. Like,
Jordan, I actually called you.
I got a phone call.
No. To be fair to Turkish, she phoned me.
I got a phone call. So wait, hold on. Lee didn't get a phone call.
Okay, and let me explain that now. Yeah, Lee didn't get a phone call because in the WhatsApp group he said I'm going back to bed. So I thought, let me not fucking wake the man up again, and then he's even more pissed at me. So
I had football, so I wouldn't have answered it like that. Right?
You know what? You know what's really taking the piss, Jordan and Lee, and you guys won't know about this, right? We went to film at the Etihad today, some previews. On the way back, huh?
Was he there on time?
Yeah, he was. He was. Credit to him.
Wanker.
Obviously, I was up early for the podcast as well. Very sleep deprived, quite hungover. There we are on the way back, squeezed into the back. A lot of us went up there to do the filming. And he's only gone and fallen asleep next to me. I'm thinking,
4 points. 4 points.
No, it's got to be free minimum. It's got to be free minimum. It's got to be free minimum. No, it's got to be free minimum. It's got to be free minimum.
And if anybody in the chat agrees with him, like, you know what I mean, I'm coming for you on this.
No, it's
got to be 3 points.
Again, you have to let me give the evidence and my side of things, no? James, did I sleep on the way to Manchester?
No. We all had a Big Mac, actually. It was good.
And on the way back, how long did I sleep for?
About 3 hours.
40 minutes, you didn't make up
3 hours.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
He missed extra time in the FA Cup because he woke back up and he went, "Oh, what's that, full time?" When no extra time. He went, "What?"
That actually happened.
It's got to be 3 points.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. Sharoy didn't mention anything about extra. Listen, none of you lot was up for the boxing. What can I do if you don't like boxing? I was up for it
because we were. Do you know why I wasn't up for the boxing? Do you know why?
We're professionals.
Do you know why? I went to bed early because I knew I had to be up for this bloody show. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Me too.
To go out last night.
Too.
Taking my show out for a nice meal, and
Same.
I said to her, "I can't. I've got to be up early for Fourever Arsenal."
Lee,
I'm
with you. The missus went to go out last night. I said no. I'm a professional. I've got a podcast to do early in the morning.
Hold on, Jordan.
In my defense, the missus was out, but she never invited me. So early night. Anyway.
All right. Listen, I apologize wholeheartedly to everyone. I will deduct myself 2 points. I might as well put the prediction table up now to show you that will make it me with a 1 point lead at the top.
That's just wow.
He's even. I'm not having it. He's even doing his own punishment. So
no, he's right. No,
he's not committing murder on it and going to the judge. No, I only want 5 years, mate. Yeah, that's all right. You're all right. Yeah. Do you know
Thanks
what?
for confessing.
I'm a repeat offender as well. Are you? What, you've done more than one murder? Oh, I'll give you 4 years then.
He's killing me.
Right?
Yeah.
He's killing me. He's right. He's right.
His brother, his sister, his uncle, and his beaten nan. All the like. And they're all going, no, let him up. He's now gone to court, right? He's got bloody bail. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Turkish bail, they're going to call him from now on. Like. You know what I mean? What's going on here? He's made up his own sentence.
It's corruption. It's corruption here. It's corruption.
He's got a TV, video, a fucking jacuzzi. What's going on here? Like, you know what I mean?
Prison visits, the lot. Conjugal rights.
Like I said, I went back to the rules, man. What can I do? I had to go back and see what the law said about it all. And Lee, you can go check that as well afterwards if you want that.
Yeah, I will do.
You might have to take my word for it.
So can I just say then? Okay, so if we agree on 2 points because the rules do say it's 2 points,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Agreed.
What if it happens again? Are we going to tighten the rules a bit more now?
For that one, we might have to call the judge back in one day to give his.
How about we try and get Sharoy back in on the next show?
Sharoy's on the payroll. I don't, Sharoy, no.
I want Sharoy on this one here. Next one, I'm saying 2 points is not enough. That is what I'm saying, all right?
I saw Sharoy on a few too many supporters clubs. I thought, what's going on here?
Yeah. Imagine it like, you know what I mean?
Funnily enough, I'm not on it anymore. It's more Sharoy on.
I haven't been invited in a while, actually.
It's not called the supporters club no more. It's called the Sharoy and Turkish show. That's what it's called. Everybody else has been dumped because they go against him up there, like, you know what I mean?
There's a few brown envelopes going around for real. This is not. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, guys. It's not a good look.
I wouldn't mind, but he went on the tactical show last week, Turkish. Surely he got some sleep there. Surely he caught up on the sleep.
What did I do?
What did I do?
James catching strays.
It's a free for all.
Well, it's your fault for letting him go sleep today as well. There's no way. I'll tell you what, you should be getting a point deducted for letting him, because there's no way after that. He deprived you of sleep today. You've let him sleep in. I'd have been pinching him. I'd have been doing loads of things to him like that.
Well, I decided to leave him be.
I had a power nap. That's what it was. I was up at 7:40. It was on. It wasn't that long after you lot gave up, innit? So
should we? Should we all get miserable and talk about Arsenal?
Don't.
If we have to.
It's not been a bad Sunday, really, though. Come on, then. I've had worse than Sundays.
When the Spurs.
Is that a record, by the way? Is that a record, stat man? Is that a record? 5-0 down after 20 minutes in the Premier League? I don't know anybody else that's been 5-0 down after 20 minutes.
It must be.
We were 4-0 up after 20 minutes at Newcastle. We drew 4-4.
Was it 20 minutes?
Yeah, it was quite quick. Yeah,
really early. Yeah, it was.
That's
like
not 5-0 now, is it?
No. Look, what happened with Arsenal? It was a Friday night. I said I'm not going to let it ruin my weekend, because as much as I love this football club, there's life, there's bigger things. I've had a good weekend, and I think actually I'm quite glad we're doing this show, because I know we were all four of us really wound up after Friday night's result and performance, and rightly so. And I'm very interested to see kind of how we reflect on not just the result and performance. I don't think a lot will change on that, but how we reflect on the team and the position we're in. A few days on. Because my position does alter a little bit after a night's sleep, and yeah, I don't know who wants to go first with kind of where they are right now.
A night's sleep, you know what I mean? Without getting up early on Sunday for no reason, I didn't sleep Friday night. I had a terrible night's sleep Friday night after that. I was so angry, like, you know what I mean? Just of the way the game went. Do you know, like, the two things that I've found really hard to take is, the first one is that to concede another goal within a minute at home, to do it once, but to do it again, and even against Leeds, you know, Robbie reminded me of that one. Ramsdale makes a great save onto the post. It could be 3 times. You know, it is really, really painful to take. You know what I mean? Clean sheet. And also, they're bottom of the league, guys. Won 6 games all season. From minute 1 to the final whistle, we was never in control of that game for any time. Not one moment in that game did we take the game and control it in any shape or form. It was a roller coaster from the first minute to the last.
Yeah.
Yes, exciting football for everybody else, but when you're going for a title and when you're the team that's leading the league and all that against the bottom of the league, not to have control for 1 minute in a game at home is unbelievable. And the reason was because we give away a soppy goal again. Like, you know what I mean? Ramsdale, what was he doing? And yeah, it is frustration more than anything else. I can't go in too much on the players because they've given me so much this year. That's what I've taken from it as we've moved on. And I still believe that we've got a chance. But on Friday night, the way that went out and everything, I'm going to be really honest. When Odegaard scored, I didn't even cheer. I just sat there. I was gone. I was gone. You know, I know we pulled it back. And you know what was more disappointing for me? You know, even give me the ump even more. 8 minutes left after that to win it. Never looked like scoring after that. Once the pressure was heaped back on us. I know pressure does your first. So just utter frustration. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Is this a fair statement?
Sleepless night.
I'll make a statement. I'm not saying necessarily stick to it, but is it fair that the reason we had no control in that game whatsoever? I know it's 94 minutes of football and there's lots of players and there's subs and there's a manager. But can you put that error, that Aaron Ramsdale made, who, by the way, I love and adore and is brilliant and has been very good for us this season. But can you blame the game plan going out the window and that control of the game going out the window solely on that Aaron Ramsdale pass 28 seconds into the game?
No. You cannot solely blame it on that, but that doesn't excuse what he done either.
Okay. Jordan?
No.
Lee?
No, but it contributed because every time in that first half, this is bottom of the league, every time they went forward, they looked like they was going to score. So I do think that it had some sort of bearing on because you're chasing a game, guys, from the kickoff.
Yeah.
I look at it and you know how many players didn't touch that ball and the ball's gone in the back of the net? 6, 7, 8 players. That's twice that's happened. You're a goal down before you started. So game plans go out the window. You know, yeah, I do. I do think that I don't say it had a bearing on the result, but you know, within 10 minutes you're 2-0 down. So it escalates, doesn't it? So yeah, and you know, when you look at it, come on. The 4 options he had to do. Why has he took that option in the first minute? No, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah. I think the answer is no. You can't blame it solely on him.
No.
But I think the minute that error was made, it was a minute in. I don't think the game was ever going to go any other way. I know there's still 90 minutes for Arsenal to play, tighten up, whatever. But maybe I'm being too nice to the rest of the team in this situation. When you're talking about pressure of a title race, when you're talking about the fact that we needed a win, having not won our last 2, having been 2-0 up in the 2 games before that, the Emirates has always been a bit of an up and down kind of. Every time we play at home, it's end to end. We're far too open and all that. I just thought it was such a killer moment from Ramsdale. It really, really was. And you know, it's funny because on the one hand, footballers should ignore what's being said in the media and maybe by fans at times and focus on what they're doing. But all the talk after West Ham was you were complacent, you were arrogant, you didn't take it seriously. And I'm thinking if that criticism is leveled at me as a player, the one thing I want to do in that first 5-10 minutes of the game is show I'm focused and I'm here. And that pass to Zinchenko was never on for me. Never, ever. It wasn't even oh, shit, you just got it wrong. Like, actually, that's a nice line-breaking pass, but you got it wrong. It wasn't on. I don't think there was any pass he could have played that would have realistically got between Walcott and Alcaraz and into Zinchenko. And that's why I think it's such a bad moment from Ramsdale. Arsenal had 97 minutes to turn it around. Sure, granted. Longer. There's 8 minutes of first half stoppage as well, I think, or 6 minutes. Like that. They had ages. They had well over like 100 minutes to sort it out. But I do think it's a really, really big setback in the game.
It sets the tone. That's kind of what it does because after back-to-back draws, and yes, Anfield very different to drawing with West Ham from being 2-0 up, but to start the next game by conceding like that, it has an effect. And I agree with you and what you said in terms of the kind of the complacency. That's a big part of it for me. I think it was a big example of it, of what I think a lot of fans meant after the West Ham game. And listen, Lee said game plan goes out the window, but at the same time, it's so early that it doesn't necessarily have to. I just feel like the mental side of things is taking its toll now, and that's what worries me the most in terms of title challenge. Manchester City, you know, they're chomping away at the cushion. Now they're in a position where they could potentially, if they win their games in hand, they're top of the league. So if the mental side is getting to them, Etihad is not the best place to be going next up. And I know we're going to get into that shortly, but it's not the best place to be going. At the same time, it's also a place where we, you know, I guess, you know, the fans on the other side of the fence who you know, remain positive about it. I guess it's a chance for us to kind of go again. But what I saw against Southampton, what I saw against West Ham, the complacency has cost us to the point where I think it's having a bigger toll now. I don't think we'll be complacent against Manchester City, but I feel like there'll be something there.
With Aaron Ramsdale, I'm going to stick up for him or whatever. Like, you know, he's cockiness, his arrogance is his strength, but it's also his weakness. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
If you know what I mean, like, I'll ask you the question, like, you know, if that happens at the Etihad in the first minute, does he play that pass or does he play safe? He plays safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, and there's an arrogance, I suppose, with the fans because I predicted 4-0. You know what I mean? But that's what
arrogance though. Like that's a fair prediction.
No. I expected us to really put on a performance there, like, you know what I mean. And I look at that and I just think that pressure does take its toll in games. And we was just talking about it, you know, on my channel, like, you know, from April to May, the season changes. It changes. You know what I mean? The season changes where pressure comes on certain teams, other teams are fighting harder for points and everything like that. It does change. It genuinely does change. And we've got to be aware of that. Like, you know, like, for instance, a point for Southampton is as big for them as 3 points to us. Same for West Ham. I mean, there's teams now fighting for their lives for whatever reason. Is it Europe or going for titles? The league changes and we've got to change with it. We haven't done that.
Jordan, I haven't really heard much from you yet.
No, just listening to the guys and just taking it all in. I think to pick up of Lee's point there, we disagreed on the last podcast we did, where I said the reason I thought we dropped points in the previous 2 matches was because of pressure. I believe it was pressure. The team are feeling the pressure now. I said that the team, and I still feel it now. This is a young team in not only collective but individually that are in a situation they've never been in before, being chased by the Terminator. The reason why I think it's been pressure all along, and that's not me saying this team is cracking, I just think it's natural. When you're a young player in a title race, pressure makes you do things you don't normally do. Arsenal do not normally concede 2-goal leads. That's pressure. Aaron Ramsdale this season, how many times he made that pass and messed it up?
Yeah. No, I can't think of one before. Yeah,
it's pressure. It's not like he can't. He's not De Gea. It's not that he can't make that pass or that decision even. Because I slightly disagree the pass not being on, but whether it's on or not, if the execution is poor either way. Go on, Turkish.
You say pressure, and I understand what you mean because those moments can be, you know, described as you know, folding under the pressure or pressure being the reason it happened. Yeah, but there's also moments that kind of indicate that they're doing well under the pressure, like the first 40 minutes against Liverpool, like the first 10 minutes against West Ham, albeit just 10 minutes, like the last 5 minutes against Southampton. But that's why you know how a lot of people are using the word emotional now. Mm-hmm. I kind of understand that because it does feel like that. Because I agree with you. It does, those moments, it feels like the pressure's getting to them. But there's moments where I feel like, hold on, if you're under pressure, you're not going to go 2-0 up at Anfield.
But the going 2-0 up bit isn't the pressure bit. It's the once you're 2-0 up, then you're under pressure because then you've got something to lose. Do you know what I mean? You've got something to lose.
Yeah,
now.
At West Ham, I'd agree. At Anfield, I think the pressure was on from the get-go at 0-0 because everyone expected from us they was the underdogs and so on. So I feel like there was pressure on from a fan.
But that's the pressure, Turkish. The pressure is that your league leaders going to Anfield where most people, not everyone, but most people were saying they're going to get minimum a draw there. And if the team can feel the expectation to go to Anfield and get minimum a point, that's pressure. That's pressure for me. And once you get the 2-0 lead, it's then what do you do from there on in? So I feel it's a team that's in a situation they've never been in before, and we're now into single-digit figures. Just going back to the Aaron Ramsdale situation as well, I'm not actually angry. I know Lee's angry at him for making that part. I think James too. I'm not actually angry at Ramsdale for doing what he did. First of all, if you look at it again, you can see Zinchenko with his hands by his groin as if to say, give me the ball. On the half turn, give me the ball. Now, still, it's Ramsdale's decision to pass it or not. But the same day, look at Arsenal's Instagram feed the same day. They always post a goal or a moment from the archives that's from the team we're playing that's forthcoming. They posted a goal that Lacazette scored against Southampton. How does that goal start? Look at how that goal starts.
We play through him,
Ramsdale almost gives the ball away, but he doesn't because he's comfortable. He knows what he's doing. So for me, the reason why I'm not critical of him for giving that goal away in that fashion is because that way he plays, has yielded so many goals for us this season. So we can't say now because he's messed up on one occasion, albeit in a very important game, that we're going to blast him for it, because that has worked for 30 odd games. So I'm more angry that it happened in the first minute.
Yeah, I'm exactly that.
I'm a big believer in. Go on.
I 99% of the time say what you're saying now, which is, hold on, we all enjoy the passing out the back when it works, and then when it doesn't, we all want to blast it. But the point is, there's high risk, high reward. I'm so with you on that. This is where we differ. I just don't think that pass ever looked possible. Like when I saw
maybe
it,
it's not. Maybe it's
should
not.
be trying in the first minute, not James. That's the thing. I agree with Jordan.
But even if it's on, I don't really have a problem with that. I just think it was. He just rolled it to Alcaraz. He just like
that's what I mean. I'm saying the execution was poor. The intent and the idea in itself, I'm not angry with, because we can't say we want our team to inherently play out from the back, but only do it from the 8th minute onwards. Just make a better pass. So, but that's fine. That can happen. I think the pressure is on this team now to deliver, and I get why they will make errors. Just going through a few of the players, if I can, just to very briefly go through a few. I thought Ben White was decent without being great. Rob Holding has for some reason come under a lot of, in my opinion, unfair flack. This idea that if Saliba was in the team, we would have beaten Liverpool, West Ham and Southampton. I don't know if that's actually true. Yes, Rob Holding is not Saliba. There's levels, of course. But I think suggests that Rob Holding is one of the top 3 reasons with drop points against Liverpool, West Ham and Southampton. For me, is really, really unfair. I know the penalty he gave away against Liverpool was clumsy. Anybody can be clumsy. That can happen. But I think he's been unfairly treated. I thought Zinchenko was poor on the game on Friday. Go on, Turkish.
On Holding, though, the second goal, yeah. If you look at the gap he leaves between himself and Gabriel, and I haven't mentioned, look, people watch this podcast week in, week out. Years gone by, I've said we need to sell Holding. That was my opinion on him. It hasn't changed, but I don't need to keep on banging on the drum. Yeah, he's come in and he's done an adequate job at times. But if you look at that goal, Alcaraz gets all that space because he's so deep. He's so far from Gabriel that Alcaraz has time to turn, take 2-3 touches. That gives the time for Walcott to bend his run around Gabriel. If it is Saliba, for example, he would be there. He would be high as Gabriel is.
Probably.
And on the flip side, I've read something, I don't know the validity of it, but it says XG-wise, leading up to Saliba's injury, was second in the league. Since Saliba's injury, we're 19th in the league. I know, obviously, the amount of games that statistic is measured on is far greater in Saliba's time there, but surely that makes it more difficult to be achieving a higher XG.
I'll look at that goal again, but I actually blame Gabriel more for that goal. I thought Gabriel's defending with Walcott was awful. His body shape is all off. You know that Walcott is quick. There was only one person to mark. It was Walcott. So why he's got Walcott behind him rather than being in front of him where you can see him? Sorry, Lee. I don't understand. I've got some more players to go through, but go on, Lee.
In Holding's defence on this, right? Why has he dropped deep? I'll tell you why he's dropped deep, because he's getting an angle for the pass, right? So that we can play it back to him, go out the other way. We give it away cheaply in midfield, right? Give it away cheaply in midfield, and that's why he was out of position, because he's dropped back for the pass, so which was Saliba would have done as well. Maybe because when we tried, I think it was Odegaard give it away, Partey give it away, we won it back. Odegaard then give it away cheaply, and they was onto us, and that's why, because he dropped back looking for the out ball. I think he's getting a little bit harshly treated on that. By the way, the defending after that from Gabriel, he's shocking.
It's awful. It's awful.
When I watch it back, because Holding so far from, I don't know, maybe you lot can, when you see it again, let me know. But because Holding so far from it looks like Gabriel's thinking, should I close this player down on the ball, or should I worry about Walcott, who kind of bends his run in a smart way and tricks him quite easily as well at the same time? Because when you see it, it does look like it's just Walcott. But I think Gabriel had the thought in the mind that he has to close this guy down because Holding's behind me.
Maybe.
Listen, have a look at it. You make up your own minds and all that. I think Holding, it could be at fault because he weren't sharp enough up there. But
I don't know what Gabriel was doing.
As a defender, guys, you have got to, he does not know his position is. He doesn't know where Walcott is. You can't see him. You know what I mean? You can't have that as a
I think listen, Gabriel's not great on the goal. I hear it, but it all happens quite quickly. We kind of have the ball in midfield, and then suddenly they break. They're running on us, and it's one. It's a touch and a pass in. I think Gabriel can do better, but I think the bigger issue with Rob Holding, because you're right, I described on Tactical Insight as clippable moments. Isn't anything clippable where you go, oh, look at Rob Holding, look how poor he is, blah blah. But I don't think it's any coincidence, especially in this Southampton game, that I thought Partey looked the most erratic.
I was coming to him next, actually, as well.
I'll just say that I think the reason is because what Arsenal don't get credit for is actually how compact they are. Everyone talks about what a great team we are going forward. We're a very compact team. When we defend up the pitch and deep, we actually get into a deep block. We do a little bit of parking the bus when we have to for 5-10 minutes and just look after a lead. But Saliba and Gabriel really squeeze up. Xhaka tucks in next to Partey. Odegaard actually leaves the midfield and goes into the front. Makes it almost a front two to press. So Partey's got his mate next to him. There are two. And he's got a centre-back that so he knows when he goes to engage, doesn't necessarily win it, but that's fine. He engages with confidence because Saliba sweeps up. And that is where Rob Holding is an issue. And Fabio Vieira was too, because the two of them, Vieira his starting position wants to be higher up the pitch because he's more of a 10. He wants to affect the game in that sense. He doesn't want to drop into central midfield. And Rob Holding doesn't want to engage higher up the pitch because he wants to be a penalty box defender. So I just think the gap between Partey and the connectors all around him was massive. And I don't think it's any coincidence that then for Odegaard struggled to get into the game till the last 10 minutes and all that. So Holding isn't, in terms of what he can give to this Arsenal team, doing much wrong. But there's just a ceiling, and we're absolutely feeling it.
And I think a Partey as well, I'm glad you flagged him, because, and to be fair to Partey, I think he missed his mate next to him, he who shan't be named. You could see that he missed him, as you flagged there, James. But Partey's been poor for about a month now. Partey hasn't been good for a few weeks, as far as I'm concerned. And
I thought he was all right at Anfield. He got some heat at Anfield.
I
thought he was good at Anfield.
He was average. But first half he was good. Second half I thought he was one of the poorer players. There was him. I know you guys. I've bitten my lip on this guy all season. I know you guys think he's a good squad player. Fabio Vieira's got to go. I'm not having Fabio Vieira. I'm just not having him, and I've deliberately not slated him this season. But when I really thought about it, Fabio Vieira is the only player in the Arsenal squad that I don't think has contributed anything significant to our season. People flagged the Brentford game, he had a good game. No, he didn't. He scored a good goal. But in that game, he wasn't particularly special. And I'm watching the game thinking, you're out of your depth. You are out of your depth. And I've thought this for a while, but I just thought, let me just wait. Let me just watch him. Fabio Vieira is not the one.
He won us the game against Wolves. Away from home. Underlap, chip. Lifts it over the keeper. If Odegaard does that, you're waxing lyrical. Look at that, creative genius, brilliant.
I'm very disappointed in Vieira so far. And if you ask me to make a judgment right now, I agree with Jordan. But I like to give it a year and a half before I say definitively I like him or I don't like him. And
I've just not seen a game where I'm like, okay, I can see what's going on here, but cool. Martinelli's couple more I want to flag. Martinelli, I know you guys all love Martinelli, and I think the goal was a great strike. That is a brilliant, clean strike that he scored. I think his strength is also his weakness. His ability to get his head down and just go past or sometimes through a player is part of what makes him a success. But it's also, for me, infuriating so many times because his head is down, he misses really obvious passes. I'm not talking once or twice. The amount of times he could have laid off to other players, for me, was just really, really unacceptable. And I see a lot through the season. Like I said before, I'm not so sure his overall game has improved. I think his goal tally has improved. And that is masking his development as a game. Now, he's a young player, fine. But for me, the amount of times I just see him where he could have, it's an obvious ball across or pulling it back, but he doesn't see it because his head is down, was infuriating. And finally, Gabriel Jesus, he's got to score that chance at the end. He's got to score that chance at the end for me. Those are some of the players I wanted to pick
I'm gonna fight you on Martinelli, and we'll keep it verbal. Let's go. You're a much bigger man than me. Martinelli, right? He is. We're talking about pressure, right? We're talking about whether the players can handle the circumstances right now. I think if there's one, and I mean one player right now who is thriving under the pressure of a title race, is actually lifting his game for it, I honestly believe it's Martinelli. That guy, he got the goal to put us back in it. he's the one putting it on a plate for Jesus. Not just in the game against Southampton, against West Ham. He created the Erdegaard goal. His first touch is immaculate. I think because he's quite an erratic player, his first touch doesn't get the credit it deserves. His first touch is brilliant. The amount of time he just cushions it and he pins the fullback down and he causes absolute chaos. In games that are really, you're playing a back five, it can be difficult to break them down. He is making things happen out of nothing. And I see him only trying harder and harder. I don't see him going into a shell because he's scared of losing the ball or he's scared of getting it wrong. I see a player who's just fighting tooth and nail to get.
He's not a hider. I'm not saying he's a hider. He's not.
I know
he's
you
not
didn't.
hiding at all.
But in that he might get things wrong. I agree. He can be very head down. But I don't see that as head down. I'm Gabriel Martinelli. I want to show what I can do. I see it as I'm doing whatever I can to get my team through this. And honestly, all our best stuff I felt came through him again. And I think that's 3 games in a row now. I think the same was true of Liverpool and West Ham. So while you're right, while if you're talking about perfection, yeah, he's not reaching that. But I'm looking at others way before I'm looking at Martinelli and where he can just make those little tweaks in his game. Because and you flagged Jesus. I'm so with you. Gabriel Jesus, he did his hold-up play. He twisted around some players. He tried to do things. Sure. But you're also the number 9. You had 3 great chances in that game. He went down way too easily for 2 pens that weren't pens. And I was just sort of thinking, come on, Jesus, lead the line here. And I think he tried, and I don't take that from him. I think all the players tried. I never have an issue with the players' work ethic or anything like that. But yeah, with Jesus, I'm with you. But with Martinelli, I've got to fight his corner here.
I'll still say with Martinelli in the second half, he was bristling in the first half. He's got the right back on the booking. And whether it's we don't use him as much, I don't know. We that's when I think, right, do you know, as good as our wide players are, not one fullback's been sent off yet with 2 bookables.
But they know what to do. Fullbacks know, right, I'm on a yellow. I'm not going to commit. They went to back 5. They brought on Lianco.
Yeah, they did. I give them credit for that.
And he didn't have the room to attack anymore.
I did, yeah, and I did do that. But we've got to find a way of, I thought there was the pair of them in the first half was sensational. Martinelli was sensational. Listen, Martinelli for me, I look at this run that we've had since the Man City game. He's been fantastic. The goal against Leicester was a class finish. I just think that them 2 were sensational. But that's what you expect from those 2 lot. But you can't be conceding the goals that we're doing. What was a disappointing thing for me, I've got to bring this up, was that when we was 2-1 down in the second half, come out for the second half, we never had a shot until they went 3-1 up.
Yeah, we didn't have a shot on target, did we?
Shot on target. That ain't acceptable. With all the talent that we've got, with all the top players that we've got there, we didn't really create anything. And I think that maybe it was a mistake playing Vieira in there as well, because I think Partey was a little bit isolated and didn't get the control of the midfield because of that. We all said it when the team come out. Xhaka was going to be a big loss. Why didn't go with Jorginho in there is one thing, and also when we got Zinchenko back, why didn't he put Zinchenko in there and Tierney? There was those couple of options we all mentioned before the game, but he went with Vieira. And it was a big game for Vieira for it all. But I do think that we're giving a little bit harsh on him, because this is a player that's been brought into the game because we're going to be controlling the game. We're going to be having lots of possession. Before if he hasn't had a touch of the ball yet and we're 1-0 down, he probably hasn't had hardly any touches to get into the game. And we're 2-0 down. The game changed. It was a complete mismatch of a game because of that for him. So we didn't have no control of the game. So I feel it was a little bit harsh on him from that point of view.
Yeah, on Vieira, I just want to say that I get the frustration, but what he has shown, and I know it's Europa League football and all that, but I kind of feel like it doesn't really matter so much. I think he's shown a good final delivery, a good weight of pass in the final third, a good strike on him, although we didn't see any of that against Southampton. But I think he's actually got one of the hardest things to find in 10s can be, creative midfielders with actually like real kind of class in the final third when they're trying to have that creative difference. We just need to get him confident. And also, I don't think he's anywhere near a Granit Xhaka replacement. I don't really know why Arteta sort of sees him as the solution.
Got no one else, Joe. Who is a replacement?
Well, like the Zinchenko and Tierney comes to left back option. You know, Zinchenko can do that. He tucks in next to Partey anyway. Just basically tell him to do that from midfield.
Yeah,
I just think Vieira. Vieira's played one Premier League game in the position that I think he is in this Arsenal team, and that is Odegaard's position. I think Odegaard missed the Brentford game. He started, and we played the same way. He might not have been brilliant, but Arsenal didn't suffer for him being in the team.
He's hiding a lot in the 8.
Yeah, well, I think he just doesn't know what to do. It's
maybe.
It's a really complex role. Like when you really think about it, it's off the ball. Can you be a DM next to Partey, which he's definitely not? And on the ball, can you also be the link man with Martinelli receiving off Zinchenko, trying to combine with Jesus, but also trying to underlap? Like, I think credit to, like, there's a reason we're all waxing lyrical about Granit Xhaka and the season he's having, because he's actually doing a pretty complicated role and he's doing it really well for us. And Vieira's not like for like in any way, shape, or form. I sort of think you're better off keeping Lokonga to play in that role. I'm not even joking, because at least Lokonga has more experience. No, but you know, like profile-wise, he's more like Granit Xhaka than Vieira is for me.
And I laugh. Sorry, Jordan. I laugh when you mention Lokonga, yeah. But don't get me wrong. I used to say, Lokonga, here you go. It's Brighton at the Emirates. Do your thing. And then afterwards say, listen, if he can't perform against the Brighton at the Emirates, and listen, Brighton have kicked on a lot over the last year, and they are a good team. But I'm talking about at the back end of the last season when we really should be beating them. If you can't perform against certain level of teams, I'm gonna start having doubts, and that's what I'm having with Vieira. But
I get it. Yeah.
James is right. I guess in the 8, I looked at it as hiding. But it might be that he's just not familiar with it and he's caught in positions that he shouldn't.
But then you go with Jorginho in there, don't you?
I just think, you know what, Jorginho makes sense against Man City, I guess. But against the Southampton, listen, we've done the same against Bournemouth. Xhaka didn't play, Vieira stepped in. Against both teams, I said to myself, this should be wins. There should be comfortable wins where, you know, we get goals and we kick on and, you know, we do 2, 3s, 4s. Even with Vieira there, so...
Can I just also flag something that, you know, after the game, many of the Arsenal flip-floppers were out embarrassing themselves again. Some of our fan base have really reverted back to what they were doing 18 months ago. Many of the people that were not pro Arteta and, you know, bashing him in his first 18 months at the club, who then changed their mind and said he was the best manager in the league, are now talking so much nonsense about the team and Mikel Arteta in particular. It just makes me think a lot of our fan base actually haven't changed when I thought they had. I saw so many embarrassing videos, so many embarrassing people on phone-ins over the weekend. And look, I know every fan base has a portion of clowns, and I'm going to call them clowns because either you don't like Arteta or you believe in him and you're going to back him, whatever it may be. And I don't have an issue with people changing their minds, but it's the people that change their minds every 6 months, depending on where the team is. I think that was embarrassing, and that links to a point that Lee made earlier on about the team being possibly complacent. Because one of the last things I said on the last podcast was, do any of us have any concerns about Southampton? And we all said no, and I went for a 3-1 win. So I was guilty of it as well. But Southampton did beat Man City, beat Man City in the cup. Man City did beat Chelsea away. Chelsea are crap, but still away at Chelsea. They did get a draw at Spurs. They have taken, my concern was, they have taken some big scalps this season. And I went 3-1 more for hope. I said Saka hat-trick. It was more me back in the team. But I wasn't...
They drew at Old Trafford as well.
They drew at Old Trafford. So I did have some slight concerns that this wouldn't be the kind of routine win that maybe we thought it should have been. And I think that complacency from the team, which I hope it wasn't, it proved to be evident, because that first half was a shambles for me.
On the Arteta stuff, right, and how fans are feeling after. What I will say is, it's a we talk about the players being emotional. Like, a title race it's a very I guess emotional affair. You could probably find better ways to put that. And you see that on the touchline. I mean, look how Arteta's reacting to everything, and we're feeling all that. And after game, people are frustrated. Now, a lot of people, and I hope you don't mind me saying this for you, Turkish, feel that the title race is over, or just think that's it. We're not going to win it now. We might. We all know we might not. I don't have a problem with people who feel that. That's fine. I get it. Of course, they can beat us to close to 2 points, and they have 2 games in hand, so they've got plenty of opportunity to take advantage of our slip-ups. I think it's the time over the last few days has passed, and I might get criticised for having a bit of a loser mentality here or whatever, but I just think last year I looked at the team and I didn't think they were good enough to challenge the top 4. I didn't think we had the kind of level of quality we needed to get into the Champions League, to be a Champions League team. But they challenged, disappointing the way it fell away. This year, I really didn't think we had the kind of quality to challenge not just Man City, but Man City doing the whole 90-plus points thing, and we've kept up. I feel proud of the team. Like, they've won 7 of their last 10. They've drawn 3. I know the last 3 have been bad, especially the way it's kind of all gone. But when I look at the bigger picture of the whole season, I am very proud of this team. And even though no one wants to hear it, they, at 3-1 down, they didn't throw in the towel. They actually nearly won that game. And they didn't. And we should be really furious about the result, because that's all that matters. But people like to pick and choose when context matters. And in that situation, they really did nearly win it. Jesus at the end, Trossard hitting the crossbar and all that. So I want to give them credit that they didn't ever give up. And we're going to the Etihad now. And it's left me thinking, you know what? Whatever happens, I know this team are going to fight. I know that they are going to really give it what they can. And if it's not enough, it's not enough. And we will go again in the summer, and it will be disappointing. And we keep trying. But, I just want a team that competes for the badge and competes for the fans. And I think they do. They might get things wrong, but I think they do.
On that subject, do I feel it's over? As soon as the match finished, I definitely felt it's over. And to be honest with you, right now, I do feel it's over, because I feel like we've slipped up too many times. But you know what it is as well? What I've kind of noticed recently about me, in terms of what you're saying about Arsenal and how far we've kicked on me. Obviously, I used to be very pessimistic. I still am quite pessimistic about things, but I used to be very pessimistic. I was pessimistic about everything, every single thing regarding Arsenal, because I just didn't believe. I didn't have hope. They let me down too many times, broke my heart how many times. So anytime, even last year, anytime things were in question, like look at towards the end of last season, we slipped up in not in a similar manner. It was a much worse manner, actually, when you really look at the performances and the fact we ain't lost a game in the last 3, and those ones last season we did. As soon as those things happened, the pessimism was taken over. But what I've noticed differently about me this year, and this is natural, this is not something you train or learn or force upon yourself. What I find now is, do I think it's over? Yes. But as soon as I say that, there's something in the back of my mind saying, come on, Turkish. We can do something at Man City. But the optimism is slowly, taking over the pessimism for me naturally, because of what Arteta's done and, what I've seen from the team this season. And that optimism is not defined by Wednesday. Win, lose or draw on Wednesday, this optimism is here now because of the season, because of how far we've come. And in reality, yes, the opposition fans are going to laugh. They're going to chat shit. We're going to all hold it. We're going to get memed and all of that stuff. Yes. But the reality is, as Arsenal fans, it will be heartbreaking to lose out on the Premier League this year. But after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, after you take a step back emotionally, maybe when pre-season starts, you'll look back and think, a lot's changed in 12 to 18 months here. I like a hell of a lot of the players. They're playing for the badge. And what I'm going to do is put the end of the season down to this young team, because it's not the same team that fucked up the end of last season in the top 4 race. It's very different. Lee?
Yeah, no, and also, I urge every Arsenal fan not to judge Arsenal over these last 3 games. You know what I mean? Judge them on what's gone on before. We've just gone on a little bit of a wobble, I think, maybe because the pressure's got to us a little bit. Pressure may be off us a little bit now because of, we now know we've got to go there and win. So I think maybe that might be a good thing, I mean? The reason that we are where we are is because we've been sensational up until these last few games, if I'll be really honest. And forget even the Anfield game, we was fantastic for 40-odd minutes in that game. If we can go there and play like that, but do it for 90 minutes. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like I'm still believing that Arsenal can win this title. As bad as it was on Friday and everything like that, this is a different game now. This is a team. We're playing a team that's got the same things to win or to lose as us. Where in these other games have been difficult games, because you look at the West Ham game, a point to them was like sacred as it was for us for the 3 points. You know what I mean? Like same for Southampton. This game there is like both teams going at it for the same goal. And I think that may suit us. You know what I mean? I really do. Like, I think that, you know, the pressure's been, it's a different pressure now.
Turkish, one of the reasons that I've said before, I support Arsenal Football Club is because I don't think there's been another top club, and maybe there has been, but in my 30 odd years of supporting this team, that caused as many surprises as Arsenal Football Club. The amount of times we've not won games that we were meant to win or should have won, but conversely, won games when everybody wrote us off. That's part of the kind of masochistic, nasty, weirdness of why I support this club. I put myself through it. How many finals we've been to? How many games have we had over the last 5 or 6 years where we're like, yeah, I mean, Friday night is an example of that, and we don't win the game. But I can also tell you games where, you know, nobody thought we were going to win. Nobody thought we were going to win the games of certain finals, certain semi-finals, and we've done it. Bringing it to Wednesday's game now. Wednesday night has to be our Old Trafford. What year did we win the league at Old Trafford? What year was that?
02.
02. That has to be our 02. The boys have really got to kind of reboot their minds. And the way, for me, you beat Manchester City is 2 things: bravery and intelligence. Those are 2 things that the boys need to do. You need to be brave. The teams that beat Manchester City are the teams that believe, I can beat you. I'm not better than you, but I can beat you. Don't just kind of go there and think we're a decent team, let's see what we can do. You have to believe it. They have to go on that pitch from minute 1 and let the world feel that they are there to win that game. And intelligence. We're up against one of the most intelligent footballing minds of all time in Pep Guardiola, who has footballing brains on the pitch as well. They have to believe it and make history. I'm doubtful whether the boys can win this title, but I genuinely believe, and this kind of goes to the result of the game kind of issue. Everyone's saying we need to win the game, and I think we do. I think Arsenal need 3 points to really give them self-belief they can still win this title. This might sound stupid. This might sound ridiculous. A point isn't bad.
No,
A point is not bad. Let me tell you why. Because whilst a point does put Manchester City in the driving seat, if we draw on Wednesday, Manchester City are in the driving seat. There's no doubt about that. It's theirs to lose at that point. But what it does, and Carragher made this point, and I thought about it afterwards, and I think it's really true. What a point does is it keeps you in the fight. You're losing the fight, but it keeps you in the fight. It's like a boxing match. You just get to round 12. You've been punched up for 11 rounds. Just get to the 12th round, and you just never know. So for me, what a point does, it puts them in the box seat 100%. But you then kick the can down the road. It's not over. And if you can then beat, who's our next game, James?
Chelsea at home.
Chelsea.
If you can then beat Chelsea and then beat who, James?
Newcastle away.
And then beat Newcastle away. If you can get through those 2, I mean, I've had a feeling for a while, the Fulham match for Man City, that could be a freak slip up there. And Everton have got a good record at home to, against Man City, period. So I could be clutching. Maybe I'm clutching. But just, and this is part of what I kind of a testament to what you both were just saying, just take it to as far as you can. Don't hand it away. Let City earn it. Let Manchester City earn this title. Don't give it to them. And I think if we can get a draw's not great. It's not great. But you are just hanging on in there. You're hanging on, and you give yourself 5, 6, 7 games where you just never know what may happen. Play smart. Get to the 80th minute, and you just never know. What I don't want to do is go back to previous Man City beatings where half-time is over. And I believe this is a different team. This is a different Arsenal team, so I don't think that will happen. But for me, if you go 1-0 down, it's not the end of the world. Even 2-0 down, it's not the end of the world. Just remember what
it might be with Manchester City.
It could be, but we've got 2 goals in us, Turkish. We've got 2 goals in us, even at the Etihad. I believe that. So if you can play smart and just get to the 80th minute and be in the game, you give yourself a chance of winning the game. So a win is what I think we need, but I don't think a draw is the end of the world. A draw is not over for me. It's not over.
I'm also just here to enjoy the ride a little bit now. I know it sounds really silly, right? What's happened. I kind of think in a weird way, if we'd beaten Southampton and then gone into the City game, knowing that a draw is good for us and it leaves us in the driving seat, whatever, I think I felt this real pressure, this real tension. And I think that should still be there, because I should feel like if we win there, we take back control. So it's really important we do. But because no one is expecting Arsenal to go and win, some are. In fact, I've actually met a lot of people who say, no, I think you're going to do something. Fair enough. But really, the expectation is that City either draw and stay in the driving seat or win and definitely go in the driving seat. I'm sort of just here for the ride now. Well, I've had the disappointment. I've had it. The last 3 games, the throwing away leads, the draws out, that was a disappointment. Now let's just give it our best shot. And I'm riding with the team here, because this has been a blast of a season. They've got to turn it around, though.
They've got to turn it around. I'm not saying necessarily. Listen, I don't think we're beating City. I've said it already in this podcast. I'm going to say it again near the end in the predictions. You're going to see exactly what I think. But we've got to bounce back from this. I don't want to end the season able to finish 6 points behind City, 7 points behind
Turkish.
City.
Agreed.
We've got, I don't want to end this season like that, because this season's been, so good for the majority.
You're totally right, Turkish. I was just going to say, another reason why we need the points to win the title. But I think we need a point or more, because I think if we lose this game and lose it badly, I fear for how the season can end. You then go into the Chelsea game, true. And it's a bit like, you go into the Newcastle, and the season could tail off. Does anyone know off the top of their head what the gap between 2nd and 3rd is currently?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so
I'm going to say I think it's about 12, 13 points, and I think.
Okay. It's more than I thought. Then I was going to say, because if you lose this game, and then
for sure.
I just think we need to get something from this game, not only to kick on our title challenge, but you're right. I would hate to see this team just fall off a cliff. We've had a great season, and they deserve to finish it, and we deserve as fans as well to finish the season strong and start next season on a high, rather than bloody hell, that last 6 games we won 2.
Yeah. If Man United win their 2 games in hand, they're 10 points behind us. But obviously, that's if they win their 2 games in hand.
I think 10 points is probably still enough for us to lock off top 2 now. I think top 2 is probably sorted then. But I just think if we can get something at the Etihad, we bounce into the Emirates against Chelsea, I think semi-believing. I think it's really important that we don't again, go back to my point about being intelligent. If at 1-1 in the 89th minute, it's about then, okay, do we go for it or do we? I don't know. We'll see how if it gets to that point. But I don't think a point is the end of the world. I don't think it's great, but it's not the end of the world.
You're so sweet, Jordan. If we get something semi-believing, if we win, I'll be delirious. I'll be like, it's happening.
No. I meant draw.
Fair enough. I will be honestly all belief restored. And I think funny, because Gary Neville's been the enemy of Arsenal fans all season, hasn't he? And actually, I don't always think what he said has been that wrong. But when he said after the West Ham draw, he said, if you were given one away game in April to win the league, would you take it? Now, we know that that's actually not how it's mathematically panned out. But it's in a lot of ways, in terms of the psychological benefit it could have, in terms of putting us back in the driving seat, it really could be an Anfield 89. It could be Old Trafford 02. It could be that kind of moment that the Premier League years when, they're doing their little read and they talk about the emergency alarm that the government read out. And, it was they always give you
that was the year that Arsenal won at the Etihad.
Yeah. And there's just highlights of Martinelli or Saka just bearing down on goal and nicking us a win. Like, I mean, it could be. And what? Hey, why not?
Just be brave, man. I don't want to do this podcast next week with you guys, and the guys have lost 3-1, but they weren't brave. Be brave. Be on the ball, be brave. In your defending, be brave. When you get a chance, be clinical. Your runs, we saw Bernardo Silva win a penalty in the FA Cup semi-final against Leicester because the guy was clumsy. These guys have got great footwork. Don't be stupid, but be brave. That's the main thing for me. You beat Man City if you are brave. I don't want to be here and, like I said, next week we're doing a pod and the team just didn't turn up. I don't want to be doing that pod. Be brave, be intelligent.
Be brave, but also be fit, Saliba, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
How important is Xhaka returning as well? Because we haven't got James. Have we got any more news on that?
He's got to be playing.
I agree.
Yeah, he has to
Listen,
retain.
give him some Lemsip and get him on the pitch.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I don't think he'll miss that anyway. Knowing the type of guy he is, he's not missing this.
Was it an illness? Was it sickness?
it was
Yeah.
sickness.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Unless he's shitting himself, then I think he'll be fine.
All right.
Thanks for that, Turkish.
Yeah, cheers.
No, I say what I think, so it came to my mind.
I always, what I love
Just hope
is
he
that
gets
you
up
bring-
on time, mate. Late for the team meeting.
What I love is you bring that expert medical insight to the show.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
that. I
thank
got
you,
that
yeah.
side of my game as well.
Yeah, I was
Dr.
sitting there
Turkish.
thinking, but if he's shitting himself, would he play? But luckily, you were there to confirm if that's the case, he wouldn't. So thank you.
Yeah, I
Would-
don't
would-
think he could, mate. I don't
Would,
think he
it,
could.
would you guys do
You
anything
ever play
radical?
football shitting yourself?
No,
It's
I
horrible.
haven't,
It's
no.
horrible. It's,
Oh,
it's
Jordan,
not
man.
good.
Wait, was it?
It's not good.
Don't remind me.
back in 2001. Anyway, would you guys do anything particularly, because it is, this game in a way is the season, would you guys do anything particularly radical or just think sod it? You know, you do something different, you might get a different result. Okay, fair enough.
Keep it the same.
I probably listen. I keep on thinking about Tierney playing this game in some way, shape, or form.
Listen, if Xhaka don't play, I'll be disappointed if Tierney don't play and Shinchenko midfield. I'll be disappointed.
I'd give Saliba whatever you can.
Whatever it
legally
takes
give
for
him.
him to play, yeah.
Whatever is not breaking rules, give it to him.
No, but it's not like a knock from what we know, is it? It's a proper injury, isn't it?
He's got a back injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you can't run, then
I mean, just
Put some
whatever.
DP on that, and you're good, man.
that's so.
Put the old $6 million man on him, like, you know. I mean, we
We're
can
going to see
rebuild him.
Turkish before kickoff. Where is he? He's not in the studio. He's there with deep heat, looking at. Is it Gary O'Driscoll, the medical? No worries, mate. No worries.
Listen, you asked
You're
for my
welcome.
diagnosis. I'm gonna give it to you, mate.
Yeah.
DP, get on the pitch.
Yeah.
90
Where's
minutes.
Xhaka? No, he's shitting himself. Don't worry about him. Oh, I've got Saliba sorted.
A couple of newer friends and get out there. That's what I say. Like, yeah. Be a
Oh,
man.
mate.
Be a man, Willie. Come on, we
This
need
is
you,
why
Willie,
we can't do late night podcasts because they're carnage. We try to do the 7 a.m. ones.
Nah, these are better than the 7 a.m. ones.
No, they are. You're right.
Yeah, 'cause
7
they don't
a.m.
happen.
ones, I've got crusty.
7 a.m. ones don't happen.
Nah, next season this shit is changing. I'm sorry, you two oldies, yeah. You love doing 8 a.m. streams.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, they love to hear the birds chirping as we start the show.
I just
I
like
can do 6
whatever
a.m.
time
ones
it is.
as
I just like everybody to be there. Like, I mean, that's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Well, next time I'll be there. I've been docked 2 points now already, so you've got your wish.
Before we move on, can I say my lady friend, my girlfriend, mentioned James on. She was just like, she watches the pod sometimes. She's like, "Oh, who's the one that's in the bottom left-hand corner?" I was like, "It's James." I was like, "She's Italian as well, by the way." So I don't know if that, yeah. So I don't know if she kind of spotted some kind of Italian vibe from you. But I wasn't happy
Sure.
about that. She's like, "Oh, he's cool, that one. He's all right. He's kind of funny." No, her words were,
Has she
"He's
been to
quite funny."
Specsavers? She's been to Specsavers?
You know what? Her eyesight is
What's
actually quite
Specsavers
bad.
got to do with how funny I am? What has Specsavers got to do with how funny I am?
He means you're as Italian as a Pizza Hut or something like that, mate. Because I don't know if she can recognize you being Italian.
I don't know. I'll ask her.
Listen, thank you, Jordan.
She's in bed.
Thank you very much.
Thank her.
Appreciate it. She seems lovely.
Of course she does. Well, she had nothing to say about me
Well,
and Lee, Jordan.
Listen,
Nah,
Turkish,
she's like-
you've got nothing to worry about. One, she thinks James is good, like whatever, and funny. And two, she's going out of him up there, like.
Yeah, that's actually
Like,
mad.
worry about it.
Yeah, we'll
Something wrong with the girl.
we'll swiftly move on.
Deaf and blind.
I'm going to bring the prediction table up now because it's coming up to that time, and I've made the alteration, people. You see,
There
on
we
the
go.
goal,
Back
I've
in the
made the change.
rain.
How'd you do that?
I just did it in the background while you lot are talking rubbish.
Yeah, plenty of time to do it, to be fair. A lot
All
of
right,
rubbish being
people.
spoken.
If you're listening to this on audio platforms, as always, here it is. Predictions made 43. I am on 36 points now, having been docked 2 points by these head teachers over here. Jordan's in second place on 35 points, just 1 point behind. Lee's in third place on 33 points. He still needs a miracle to make it back. And James is in fourth on 31 points.
Oh, all I'm seeing is 5 points off top.
Yeah, you're going for it.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Let me hear your predictions tonight. I say tonight. Yeah, whenever you listen, this is what it is. I'm going 3-1 City. Don't ask me why. I don't want to explain it. I do. My head's saying 3-1 City, and that voice in the back of my mind keeps on saying 2-2. Because I wouldn't mind the draw. Get out of this one with still a chance, like Jordan said. I'll take it, but I don't see it happening. In every which way I look at this game, I see City winning. So 3-1 City. Jordan.
I'm tempted to go for a goalless draw, but I'm gonna go. I actually don't have a clue on this one. This one, my head's all over the place. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Lee.
Manchester City 2, Arsenal 3.
Oh, he's gone for it. He's gone for it. Go on, Lee. Get in there, son.
Word. I'm going to make up points on Lee. This is fantastic.
Go on, James. What you predicted?
No, look. For all the positive stuff I've said, I think City are going to win this 3-0.
Wow.
I've done a whole rallying call.
I know.
But that's my head. I'm excited for this game, and I can't tell you why. I just predicted 3-0. I couldn't tell you why.
Because we haven't been here in a very long time.
Maybe it's that. What feels like a Premier League final. I know it's not. Obviously, there's a lot of games. I get it, but I'm excited for this game. I don't know why. I'm not dreading it. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Same for me. This is the game. I'm still carrying feelings, like the same way I was carrying feelings at Old Trafford this season, where I thought we should have won and we didn't. We got revenge at the Emirates. I'm still carrying feeling about the game at the Emirates against City last season, where for me we were the better team. We just imploded towards the end because of he who shan't be named, and I think it was Gabriel got sent off, didn't he? In that particular, he gave a penalty away, didn't he? Or one of them got sent off. Anyway,
no, Gabriel got sent off. Xhaka gave away the penalty.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I mean, we ended up losing. So I'm still carrying. So I think this is the game where, after overcoming so many hurdles this season, beating Spurs away, beating Liverpool at home, late comebacks, even the drama of Friday night. This for me is the last almost box to tick. If you can go to City and beat City and really announce yourself as like real Premier League contenders again, that for me would be so significant for Arsenal in their evolution as a top team again. So I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, win, lose or draw, there's a learning curve to be taken.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully they do that. All right, predictions round up. I've gone 3-1 to City. Jordan's gone 1-1. Mr. Lee Judges has gone 3-2 to the Arsenal, and James has gone 3-0 City. Listen, I'd love nothing more than to open the show next week after the City game, and Lee is joint top with me on 36 points. He's the only one that's gone with a win. I hope it does happen. We need it to happen, in my opinion, for this league title. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you give us your predictions too. Thoughts on the show as always. Comments of the day, all of that, people. You already know what to do there. Big ups every single one of you. Always a lot of comments. 1,000 likes. I didn't mention. Let's get it to 1,000 likes, people. Nice and early. Every show is hitting 1,000, so make sure this one does too. And before we get into comments of the day, I'll let you guys get ready. I just want to big up NordVPN again. They are sponsoring this Fourever Arsenal podcast. Use the code AFTV at the checkout, or click the link in the description below. nordvpn.com/AFTV, and the special will already be applied. Please do check during the checkout process. We are doing some great stuff with NordVPN. If you didn't check out the blooper vid from last week, let's have a little look at it again.
I'm trying to access this video and it's doing my nutting, Robbie.
Basically, you almost got like...
And I won't be tagged to anywhere, and I can save money when... sake.
So how do I know when he's finished moaning? Stop. All right, okay. Should we do... Oh.
That's brilliant.
Lee, I don't know what's going on there, man. I actually don't know what's.
Nor
I
does
actually
he.
love that video. Huh?
Nor does he.
Does he?
Got the acting. I actually
Look,
love doing those things like those adverts because there are so many mess ups in it. Like, but it is quite good fun.
They need to make more of them blooper vids. Listen,
should do a lot more of them. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of content there. I tell you.
There's a lot, yeah. Look out for more people. Make sure you show NordVPN some love. AFTV is the code, or you can click the link in the description below. As I said, nordvpn.com/AFTV. Make sure the special is applied. It is there. And big up NordVPN. And let's get into it. Comments of the day. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. A simple one for me. Just Stuart just mentioned. Nice message. Great show, guys. Thanks for putting a smile on my face as always. Simple.
That's really nice.
Love those messages. People enjoy. Everywhere I go, people like bump into me and they say that they love the pod, mainly me, but they love Fourever Arsenal. They really enjoy what we give them. So yeah, just all those nice messages. They make a difference.
So you ran out of time and just clicked on the first comment you saw, yeah?
Basically, yeah.
Right,
That's a bit harsh because I was about to say I was thinking along the same line because my comment of the day comes from Nick and it says this is definitely the best show that AFTV does. Insightful opinions and top class banter.
Thank you.
Can you email robbie@aftv.com? The boys need an increase in their salaries because you love the pod so much.
None of that. Just need him to know it's the best show. That's all. That's plenty.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, go on.
Chef, see that Lee intro. Not seen him move that fast since he left his passport at the hotel.
That's a good one still.
By the way, I think you butchered another name. I saw it in the comments. Someone else said,
they weren't happy with you.
It was Raf, but he said Ralph.
Yeah, that's Raf. I didn't have my I ain't got my glasses.
Raf, you see how I remember your name, Raf, and what did you say? You said you're his favorite.
I called him Ralph, didn't I?
Yeah.
You see Jordan, and you don't have no respect for the support.
Yeah, it's true.
You have no respect.
I hope I pronounced this right. From Ev.
Oh, right. Yeah, go on.
All of that.
Well, listen. Hold on. You said Raf instead of Ralph.
No, he said Ralph instead of Raf.
Well, Ralph instead of Ralph. Oh, come on, let's see if you can get it right, old clever.
Evgeny. I hope I've pronounced that right. I really
No, you haven't.
Well, I'm not even doing this with you. Said if Jordan features on Tactical Insight, the show's name should probably be changed into Tactical Highlight.
Well
done. Very good.
Well done.
And I'm going to read one more from Voos, who says, very sweet. It's a long message, but it says, favorite podcast of the minute. Really enjoys it. But I like this last paragraph where he says, to all Gooners, even after poor results, we must believe. When was the last time we were in a race? Let's enjoy the ride. Come on, you Gunners. And I agree with that. For everything that's gone wrong the last few weeks.
Enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah. When were we last in this position? Enjoy it. Support the team. Sing your hearts out. If you're going to the game at the Etihad, sing your hearts out. Wherever you are, wear your Arsenal scarves. Big game on Wednesday. And you know what? If we lose, it hurts anyway. So you may as well enjoy it. You may as well give it your all.
Yeah,
that's great. I'll tell you what, I've really been inspired from you, James. Considering you've backed us to lose 3-0, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we're going to lose 3-0. Yeah, I think they're going to destroy us. But
fantastic. Give me inspiration, that is.
Yeah, no, I know. But back your team, get behind them.
Come on, let's have it.
Arsenal.
We're doing this.
Yeah, we better do this because it's a big one, people. It's the Premier League final. That's how I put it. This Wednesday, I say final. It should be the final. We should have beat Southampton, and then it would have become a final. I think if we win, we still got a job to do. If Man City win, it's over. If it's a draw, then fingers crossed we continue hoping and getting inspiration from James's speech just there. As always, I want to big up James, Lee, Judges, and Jordan in the building. Make sure you show the video some love. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Leave your comments there. Always doing comments of the day. I did towards the end of every stream. It tends to be. And our predictions are made. So, yeah, give us your thoughts in the comment section. Lineups, that would be another thing to add there. Obviously, I'd like to see Tierney. Others would like to see Zinchenko maybe in midfield. Give us your thoughts on that. And yeah, we're going to call it a day here. We're going to be back after the City one. Hopefully it's a positive one and we're starting it all.
Be brave. Be brave.
Fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed. Love for the love, people. We're out.